For decades, there was a sharp divide in Hollywood. If you were on television, the industry considered you overexposed, a face audiences could see for free at home, and therefore wouldn't pay to see on a theater screen. George Clooney worked against that stigma for 15 years. Long before he was a household name, he was working blue-collar jobs in Kentucky, cutting tobacco and selling shoes door to door just to stay afloat. He spent the 1980s as a journeyman actor, moving between minor roles and failed pilots for sitcoms like The Facts of Life and Roseanne. Those 15 years of manual labor and bit parts didn't create a star overnight. They forged a relentless work ethic in an actor who was now truly desperate for a strategic breakthrough. That breakthrough arrived in 1994, when, at age 33, Clooney landed the role of Dr. Doug Ross on the NBC medical drama ER. The show was a cultural force. It averaged 30 million viewers weekly, reaching a massive peak where 47.8 million people tuned in to a single episode. That level of exposure made him the biggest star on television, earning him several Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. While ER brought him fame, it also created a ticking clock. He had to prove he belonged in cinema before the industry could permanently categorize him as a television doctor. His initial plan was simple: take his status as a television icon and convert it directly into a high-budget action career. In 1997, he took on a role that seemed like the highest peak in Hollywood, playing the lead in Batman and Robin. The film was a disaster. Clooney was vocal about the failure, later describing the entire project as a waste of money. This high-profile setback made it clear that massive budgets and superhero franchises don't automatically provide cinematic respect or a sustainable career. He changed direction, utilizing the final years of his ER contract to actively seek out visionary directors rather than chasing generic studio roles. He sought alliances with established filmmakers, working with Steven Soderbergh for Out of Sight and David O. Russell for Three Kings. He began cultivating a specific self-deprecating charm, leaning into a classic style that invited comparisons to Clark Gable in the Coen brothers' O Brother, Where Art Thou? This approach reached a turning point in 2001 with Ocean's 11. Leading a massive ensemble of A-list stars, he stepped into the role of Danny Ocean with the same effortless gravity Frank Sinatra once brought to the part. By following the instincts of visionary directors, rather than chasing generic action roles, he shook off the TV stigma and established a level of cinematic credibility few in the industry expected. Once he had secured his place as a leading man, Clooney used his influence to take total creative control of his career. He moved into directing and producing, forming Smokehouse Pictures to independently greenlight historical and political dramas that he found personally meaningful. The validation of this move was absolute. He won an Academy Award for his acting in Syriana and a Best Picture Oscar for producing Argo. By owning the production process, he shifted from simply acting in films to curating the specific artistic legacy he wanted to leave behind. He had successfully navigated the industry, using television to build an audience, treating early failures as a guide, and prioritizing directors with distinct views. He remains relevant by returning to his theatrical roots, culminating in his 2025 Broadway debut as Edward R. Murrow in Good Night and Good Luck. This ability to bridge different eras of entertainment is why Time magazine described him as the last movie star. He survived the perilous move from television to film by connecting old-world leading man presence with modern creative independence. In doing so, he redefined the trajectory of the modern actor.